now what we're trying to understand is the cheating that has been done to the Hyderabadis through Geo 69, which they tell is in lieu of Geo 111. So suppose somebody tells that Geo 111 has been repealed. No, it has not been repealed. Only para 3 of Geo 111 has been removed. Okay. So the government has told that it is smart enough not to tell that it is repealed, so that none of us can fight out that reinstate Geo 111. Only para 3 has been removed from there. So now, the reasons that now one point that we have highlighted, you all, by now you know, all of us were gathering here. Right from 2016, the government has been telling the National Green Tribunal, the High Court, and the Assembly, and the press and the people, and everywhere on every platform, it has been telling that the committee, and highly empowered committee, is coming up with a report. But finally, on 12th April 2022, what it told is that there is a report submitted by High Power Committee in this GO, but nobody knows about that report. And that report is not even mentioned in the body of the GO anywhere. And it also told us on 12/4 that cabinet decision has been taken. We all know this, we all heard this. Cabinet decision has been taken. So we don't know who was sitting in the cabinet, we don't know anything. Okay? So
cabinet or central cabinet? Sorry.
This is a state government decision. So state cabinet has been formed, and whatever they have, they said decision is being taken. So the repeated things, so that is one point to note, that the high empowered committee. Sanjay is Raji. So the points that we have to note is this, that one thing, that the high power committee report never came for the past 6 years. 2016 it was formed, 2022 daga raledu, it didn't come. And what is the language I should use? Telugu, Hindi, English? Hindi is better, everybody follows.
Hindi, most welcome.
तो ये मालूम हो रहा कि 2016 से 2020 रिपोर्ट आया ही नहीं, और कैबिनेट डिसीजन बोल दिए, रिपोर्ट को हम लोग पूछ रहे बोल के, हम लोग रो रहे बोल के यहाँ पर डाल दिए, रिपोर्ट सबमिटेड बोल के 5th पे डाल दिए, और लेकिन वो रिपोर्ट हम लोग किसी को नहीं मालूम. सो दिस इज द वे थिंग्स आर गोइंग ऑन. इफ दिस वेलफेयर ऑफ पीपल इज एट द हार्ट ऑफ इट, then everything has to be threadbare, transparent, kept before the public. Here is the report. In this there is more welfare of people. That is why I am removing. Come on, let us celebrate. This should be the feelings that the government should be able to generate. Rather, it is doing it so shabbily that it is not able to release this GO also. This GO is not available in the public domain. For a kind information, it is not on the GO website. Okay? It has not been released to the press. This is a leaked GO. Where is it on the GO website? It is not there on the Telangana government website. It has been circulated. Okay? रिपोर्ट बोल रही है, रिपोर्ट कहीं भी नहीं है. सही में रिपोर्ट इतना अच्छा है कि हमारी सबकी तब्दीली अच्छी है, सबकी अच्छाई है, अच्छे दिन है, तो रिपोर्ट हैज टू बी देयर अमंग अस एंड वी शुड बी सेलिब्रेटिंग द रिपोर्ट. तो वो भी नहीं है. So this is how the Hyderabadis are being cheated. The educated, the metro city residents of Hyderabad are being able to be cheated, and nobody is on the streets of this. Nobody is able to grasp the danger. इसमें क्या डेंजर है, ये क्यों एक धोखा हुआ है हम लोगों के साथ, ये हमको समझना जरूरी है. हम चंद भी लोग हैं, but we have to understand this and we have to have the necessary gusto to spread this message very thoroughly. Okay, so two important points that stand up in this is that he is telling that only 1.25% of the drinking water source is being catered to by this, and at that time the percentage was far more. According to all the 27% of the drinking water was coming to the Hyderabad city at that time when Geo 111 was there, which 1996. Now he tells it is only 1.25. So that a basis for you to tell that this is no more a drinking water for you? It is still having water. So how can you tell that it is no longer, you see in para 2, no longer the source of drinking water supply to Hyderabad city? How can it be told? So look at the uncivilized and unabashed manner in which they come up like this, the language. It is no longer a drinking water, but even yesterday you go through the Hyderabad water board figures, 73 million gallons travelled by gravity and was given to the residents from Usman Sagar, and another 23 million gallons came out from Himayat Sagar to the Miralam water filter beds. There are 2 filter beds also which are 100 years old. Okay, so these are the points, the historicity of it. Now we are going to go through the timeline to understand the historicity of this natural system where the natural waters are travelling right from Anantagiri Hills, very trains in these area. Right from Anantagiri Hills, the water that is falling, rainwater is the purest form of water according to science. So this water is travelling down to these reservoirs. Then they are travelling through the raw water channels from here to Asif Nagar, from here to Miralam filter beds. I have not drawn that. So, and the dams have been constructed, the first and foremost purpose to control the floods. Now, before getting into all that, we want to just question and also symbolically, actually, we want to even tear this. We are taking care that we should not have so many copies and tear this. Because we are again conscious, we are nature conscious people, we do not want to waste paper like that. But what we will do in the end is that we will have one paper in one geo in between and we will symbolically tear it with our hands like this. To let know that we are the true citizens and true followers of the Constitution of India, true followers of the rule of land. Okay, we propose to do that with everybody's consent. So now, what we have to understand is that the population of the city has increased, and if the water capacity is catering to lesser percentage of people, it is because the percentage of population has increased, but the water holding is the same. Rather, the water holding capacity of these 2 reservoirs has decreased. Why it has decreased? For 2 reasons. Because there are encroachments inside the reservoir. Number 1, there are in the official maps. There are encroachments in both the reservoirs. And as today Krishna, who brought this boat, he had also taken a video from that site because he's a birding person. So there also he saw that the fence is constructed somewhere inside the reservoir by the government. Whereas the FTL pillar is somewhere here, the wall is constructed somewhere here. So they are trying to make it into just a pond-like thing. So that is why we are questioning, is it about Vilasalu versus Avasaralu? एक अय्याशियां वर्सेस जरूरियात. तो ये हमारे लिए जरूरियात है, लेकिन गवर्नमेंट इसको अय्याशी की तरह देख रही है. It is a necessary for us. But the government is just treating it as not necessity but as a vanity. Okay? So we are trying to understand and tell more and more people that we are in peril. Peril in how many more forms? Now he is also talking about 1,32,000 acres. This was still governing, this was established the General Pollution Management Area. So one thing that he was telling is that it is మేము సానుభూతితో క్యాబినెట్ సానుభూతితో కన్సిడర్ చేసి ఇవి జీవో ఎత్తేసినాం, ఈ జీవోలో పారా 3 ఎత్తేసినాం అనేసి. तो सानुभूति ई कैचमेंट एरिया, सपोज उस्मान सागर हैज दिस एंटायर कैचमेंट एरिया and Himayat Sagar has this entire catchment area. Okay, so వీళ్ళది 1,32,000 acres అని చెప్తా ఉంటే, is everybody, first of all, the governments must be able to put in the public domain the list of all the landholders here. What is their occupation? Are they working actually on their land? And what is their choice of development? There may be among these so many people who have actually purchased the land for some construction. There may be so many who have actually still farming and want to continue to do farming. There are 2 types of people over there now. So the point is that when we have to Why we have to preserve this reservoir and dam? Again, I will come to it. But the point is that development is not necessarily a 40 or 60 story construction building. We are proposing to the government that you can have actually a big floriculture in all this. Only floriculture, natural farming in this. The countries from South Africa are generating lot of revenues only through floriculture. Hundreds of millions of dollars they are earning in the floriculture. So we can actually have this entire, it will be automatically the United Nations, UNESCO will come here and declare it as a World Heritage Site. That is the kind of proposals that we are looking from the government, because two things, one to save the city, but another thing is we have to be resonating country, but the globe, the earth is in existential threat. And we cannot forego an inch of our green space or aqua space. Now this particular region is a paradise. It is a paradise of blue spaces and green spaces. The Usman Sagar Reservoir, Himan Sagar Reservoir and the Gurgwani Park. This is a paradise for us. Now the point is that there is no city in this country which is having this natural system of catching water, drinking water for a city. We have to understand this. No city in the entire country has in its vicinity a hill range from where water falls by gravity and is being captured into reservoirs, and then it has the facility of removing the flood waters from the gates, and then it has the facility of taking one raw water channel from here till the Asif Nagar filter beds and one raw water channel to the Mir Alam filter beds. These filters, so what is happening is pure water falling down, captured here, and then if excess waters, like in 2021 we had flood waters, the excess waters are removed from these floodgates and they go via Musi Nadi and join the Krishna at Vadepalli. And every day by gravity water is flowing to the Asif Nagar filter beds and Mir Alam filter beds. Yesterday ka figure hai, from here 73 million gallons and from here some 28 or 27 million gallons travelled by gravity to the filter beds and gave drinking water to lakhs of households. Please remember that. And here it is being told to us that, and they are no longer the source of drinking water supply to Hyderabad city. The government should be sued on this single statement. No longer, I am telling you yesterday's figures. Right now, if you open the Hyderabad Water Board, hyderabadwater.gov.in, and you click the date will show you yesterday what is the storage capacity in TMCFT and what amount was withdrawn for the city purpose. Even that it will show you. Even now, if you tell it will show you hyderabadwater.gov.in pe gaye to. So this is the type of lie that this Geo69. Now when I told that we will symbolically tear, it is not simply that I told that. Apart from now we have to understand many more things, which I will try to very briefly, succinctly put before you all.
Where does
Apart,
start? Where does Musi River start?
This is flowing through many channels. There are many inflow channels to the Usman Sagar, many channels to the Himayat Sagar, and from reservoir, and this is the dams on Isa, Musa, and this is all joining at Babughat, that is the Musi Nadi.
So where is the origin of the Musi?
Above Anantagiri Hills.
Anantagiri Hills.
Backside.
So one second, I'll come to that question. Now the point is that it is not just about giving drinking water, which is it's a lie. We understood just now that it is actually at this moment also giving drinking water to lakhs of people. But the other point is that even on the top of the surface of the earth, when it is going through the water channels, दूसरी चीज क्या हो रही है कि जमीन में ये ग्राउंड एक्विफायर्स में कंटिन्यूअस वाटर भेजता जा रहा है. कंटिन्यूअस
Lubna, one second. ये distance भी बता देना यहाँ से वहाँ तक, because that is 80 kilometers over here. That is reaching to the point that is so that entire vegetation is that entire landmass that is there. if you look at the 25 by 80 square kilometer space, उसका vegetation is पानी पे depend करता है. It is not just water when you are talking about when you are looking at a reservoir. Catchment area also takes care of the total water in that entire square kilometers. 80 kilometers multiplied by an average of 40 kilometers a day. And that recharges your groundwater.
Yes. Okay.
Plus, उसके बाद में altitude is start and at the end.
Yes.
So you can actually define the gravity,
Yes.
which is actually converted into energy,
Yes.
which will
Yes.
then be
Yes.
put into bottled water to create a market for the rest of the people. You understand that? What they are going to do is that this
I will just complete this and hand it over to you.
नहीं, ये पूरा पैसा people can't afford. देखो
Yeah.
जो गरीब लोगों को अफोर्ड नहीं करेगा,
Yes, yes.
उन लोगों को पैसा देके पानी लेना पड़ेगा. Once they fill up this entire
Let us follow the pattern. Okay, so the point here is we are trying to understand, apart from the continuous supply of water that is happening through the raw water channels coming from these two reservoirs, what is happening is under the ground it is continuously recharging many groundwater channels. So from kilometers far away from the outside the vicinity of the catchment also, let us remember, outside the catchment area also they are actually pumping, the people are drawing the water from the wells, from the channels, from the bores and other things. So reservoirs का बहुत बड़ा काम मकसद होता है, बहुत बड़ा काम होता है. It is not just about, and also the Murugwani Park which is forming here, why I call it a Jannat, because it's full of water and greenery. That is Jannat. Jannat is nothing but having free and pollutant-free air and water and land. That is the first क्या बोलते characteristic of Jannat, paradise. Okay, so catering not just on top but catering to the down, and and the scientists have told that when the groundwater is sufficient, that time the temperatures will be balanced. Suppose the groundwater channels get dried up, then the ground heat above the ground will be increasing. These are all the scientific findings. So what we are trying to understand now is that the importance of these reservoirs is not just about 2 ponds or about 2 wells or something like that. This Geo 69 is a blatant lie and a deceit upon the Hyderabadi people, narrating all sorts of lies in that. Now coming down to the timeline, this is a timeline and this is the terrain which I am trying to explain. Now first I will complete the terrain part of it because we are touching it actually. Now understanding the Anantagiri Hills and the Usman Sagar. The distance between these two is around 60 kilometers. Okay. Now, one second. Let me tell you about the Musi Nadi. Musi Nadi, right from here till the Vadepalli, it is about 256 kilometers. Okay. Out of that, around 60 or 40 flows through the city, Hyderabad city. That is the urban part of it. Now, there are some different regulations of governments. I will not go into that. Now, we are trying to understand that this is about 661 meters MSL. Okay, meters above the sea level. Now from that place it's traveling by gravity and this is around 50 to 60 meters low. So by gravity it is being captured in these two. Okay. So now from here when you go down to the city, further into the city, it is at a further more 50 meters below, 50 to 60. So completely from the catchment area till there it is around more than 100 meters difference. So you have to imagine like this, suppose we are all sitting here and there is a huge water tank completely over this and we are sitting here. So that is Usman Sagar and we are sitting there. Now the importance is that they are dammed. They are dammed on 2 tributaries of Musi Nadi. Now when the catchment area rain is all falling, why did the water board also tell in 2020 through their official declaration that because there is excessive rain, it's not controlling and the reservoirs are full, so we are opening 12 doors of Himayat Sagar and we are opening 10 doors of Usman Sagar. Why did they tell that? They told that, in writing they told that because we fear the safety of the dam. This is official statement what I am telling you. These are official statements that I am telling you. It's not mine. They are from water board. They told the reservoirs are full. We fear the dam safety. To protect the dam safety and health, we are releasing all the waters. Drinking water was released like that in the Musi Nadi, and Musi Nadi for 1 week, 10 days, there was no Murigi Vasana. पूरी वहाँ जाके खड़ो मुसी flood के time से went to the Musi Nadi. मूसी नदी के पास फ्रेश वाटर, फ्रेश एक्चुअली पीने का पानी का पूरा जल था. बट वन थिंग व्हाई आई वाज सैड, our पीने का पानी was going away. Do you know many people don't have adequate water in our city. पीने का पानी मूसी नदी को धो रहा था.
But excess water has to be released.
Has to be released. Why it has become excess is the point. Was it really excess is the point. You have so many water bodies in Usman Sagar. Here you have water bodies Nalla Chervu and others, Pokapet Lake, Nalla Chervu. Here Balkapur Channel, you have the Moekasani Kunta, you have Wamasani Kunta. Why all these? If suppose these water bodies were not encroached, all this water would have gone and settled there. And if these water encroachments inside were removed, then further more water would be here. If these two reservoirs were silted well, then more water capacity would be holding there. How are we coming to conclusion that it is brim? It's full to the brim because you have not cleaned it, you have not desilted it, you have not removed the encroachments.
It's a planned approach to.
So these are the points that we have to bear in mind when they were actually, because I questioned the GM. Tell me, how are you telling me that when you took me here, Oro Sports Vanity is inside, Paisan Fields is inside, so many compound walls inside the reservoir. I am not talking about the illegal structures in the catchment area. I am talking about inside the reservoir, here and here. And I travelled here with the general manager, inside the reservoir. I travelled into this and into this till here. I am travelling inside the reservoir. What is this? I should not be able to travel inside the reservoir. Yeah, in 2021 it came till here. In 2020 it came till here, their wall broke. Okay, so these are the points. So we are being lied. Every time we are being lied only because it is somebody's villa salu. Somebody wants some villa salu. So that is why they are trying to just fool us. Now the other points that I am trying to tell is the dams that, and we are here at the site. Now suppose you have the Usman Sagar on top here and we are sitting here. Now how much of safety should that wall that is, and on top there is huge all water. There is a huge tank full of water. Now how much of precaution should be taken to see that the wall that is protecting that water, its safety, that's a dam. How many precautions, कितना precautions लेना चाहिए कि वो डैम बहुत ही सेफ रहना चाहिए, क्योंकि हम लोग यहाँ बैठे हैं. अगर वो ऊपर का जो वॉल है वो ब्रीच हो जाए तो हम लोग वॉश आउट हो जाएंगे भाई. हम यहाँ ना मेरा माइक रहेगा ना वो रहेगा, कुछ नहीं, पूरी वॉश आउट हो जाएंगे. This is the same situation that I am trying to explain here. The dam is here holding not just this much of water, it is holding huge amount of 5 TMC of water. 5 TMC means 5,000 million cubic feet of water, and this is holding around 4,000 million cubic feet of water. So this amount is actually less holding because of the encroachments and they are not desilting. This much amount of water, the water board itself is being afraid and they are releasing it even though it is a drinking water, because they have not made adequate facilities to capture excess rains. Instead of trying to capture the pure form of water by creating more reservoirs here, create another reservoir here, or you remove the encroachments in all the lakes because they have to hold the water that the rain is giving. You have not done anything of that sort. And you are telling that no, we are not even talking about the flood water, not even talking about the dam. The entire GO 69 does not even talk about the basic purpose of the Usman Sagar and Hemant Sagar, which is about the dams that we constructed so that the water will be captured here and they have formed the reservoirs so that they will then serve the drinking purpose. So the first and foremost point, when 1908, when there were floods in the Hyderabad city, when 15k people lost their lives, and then even today there is a tree near the Osmania General Hospital, and that tamarind tree, 150 people climbed up the tree and survived with their lives. That tree is still there at the Osmania General Hospital. This is the historicity of our great city Hyderabad. The tree is still there, okay? And this floods, when 15k people lost their lives and many people lost their homes and property, that time the Nawab had declared that never again should my city people face this wrath of the nature. So he called upon this Sir Moksagundam Vishvesharaya, who was the Diwan of Mysore at that time, and then they chalked out this plan, and then together they chalked out the plan, and in 1912 they commenced the construction of the Usman Sagar. The plan was laid out for both, but first the Usman Sagar reservoir thing was laid, and then it was completed after say 5 years. Then again the work immediately started for Himayat Sagar. Again the work was completed for Himayat Sagar. Now this is, after that we did not face the washing away like that, because that actually did the job for it was constructed. And in the historical books, if you look through, I have not carried with them, but the historical books, the Nizam government's orders which were formed every year, they used to come up with some order books, what was all done during the year and how much amount was spent. In that, if you see, I have two orders with me like that, sent by Mr. Asif, who is one of the architects of this Hyderabad city. And these two, in that it is clearly written that these reservoirs or these lakes are being constructed only for this, these dams are being constructed only for the purpose of controlling the flood waters, and then supply of drinking water, and then the people can also use it for irrigation. This chronology of why it is meant for is repeated in most of the Nizam orders and most of the historical books also. Now this particular chronology and this particular truth and reality is sadly being overridden and ignored by our government of the day. That is the sad part. In spite of, just in October 2021, how much we suffered. 21 and 20, how much we suffered. And within months, he is able to come up with this GO in such a hasty manner. Now the other point is that why this needs to be told, even if symbolically, is this. That the GO 111 that I am going to talk about now, it came out after 2 expert committee reports. It did not come out of 2 IAS committee reports. It did not come out of some 3 babus sitting in that. It came out of actually experts, the GO 192 and GO 111. And in 2000 is another timeline that we have to have here. In 2000, the Supreme Court committee ordered 3 expert committee reports. Only after 3 expert committee reports, it gave an order that the GO 111 should never go, and no polluting industry should be allowed inside the catchment area. It told emphatically in 2000 through its own order. So, the 5 expert committee reports, the Supreme Court order, all these have been overridden. The original purpose for which these were constructed, all these have been overridden. The 2021 realities of what happened to our city, even that was overridden. And today we are thrown on our faces this GO 69, which talks about why this is just catering to 2% of your water needs. So you don't need this water. I will give you water from somewhere, you drink it. It is simply is telling that this water reservoir, I want it for some purpose. Why do you want? You want water now? Okay, I am bringing it from somewhere. Who are you, bhai? This is our historical system of drinking water. Why are you denying this to us in the first place? And what about the flood water? He is not being sure. Observe one thing is that in this entire GO, nowhere, I told you committee report is not talked about one thing, but nowhere is he talking about the flood or the dam, or about the excess rains that we had just some 6-7 months back in October 2021. There is no mention about these 3 things anywhere. So that it's an arbitrary one, and it's a very, very stealthy, deceitful document thrown upon us, which we must resist if we are true citizens of India, and if we are true humans, then we must resist it with whatever might we can, in a most parliamentary way, and we have to achieve it, and we will achieve it. We will return back this to the government and tell, boss, you may walk out of the Pragati Bhavan along with this GO. That is what we have to arrive at as true citizens of Hyderabad and India. Now coming down again back here. So this is what happened. The construction of the reservoirs happened, and after that we did not see these sort of floods. So it served its purpose. Now what happened was, what was seen that this area, a lot of people were trying to create unauthorized check dams, and all that was started happening. And the water channels, inflow channels of Usman Sagar and Himayat Sagar, they were being diverted, they were being concretized, check dams, unauthorized things were being constructed. So what they saw was, they brought out GO 50. GO 50 is actually about the terrain part of it. They observed, then they authorized over that, no unauthorized check dams, no unauthorized bores or drills, because the city's water needs are from here. Hence nothing of that sort should be done. All these points were very much highlighted, and at that time they did not even differentiate that it's a 10 kilometers catchment area. 10 kilometers prohibited zone, the entire catchment prohibited. I mean, वैसा बहुत था. That is why the water board in 1994 they came up with one expert committee report. Okay. On the basis of that expert committee report, they came up with GO 192. Okay, in 1994. In that GO, they actually told they by the marking out the watershed areas, by demarcating the ridges and identifying the watershed areas, they told the 10 kilometers buffer zone they demarcated around the Usman Sagar and Vinayat Sagar. Okay. Now further, after the second export report came up in 1996, that is when GO 111 came. After the second export report, then they actually identified 84 villages. That is the 84 villages he is talking about. The 84 villages they identified and they said that these are the villages that where we have to be very strict in our implementation, where no polluting industry, no unauthorized check dams, no unauthorized drilling, all these bolke, they came up with the GO 111. So now we are traveling across the timeline and we are seeing how it actually evolved. We also saw across the terrain how we understood how from a higher altitude water is traveling, pure water is traveling there, and as scientists explaining, when they are traveling actually they are getting purified in a form. Okay. And after that, we are still to this date getting it through the raw water field chances for drinking. Outside the catchment area for kilometers long, it is actually giving water, recharging, and so many lakhs of people are deriving the benefit. It is sustaining the Burgwani Park, and it is also giving us the necessary temperature cooling and the cooling effect to the city that is necessary over there. So multi-functions and sustaining not just the humans but the entire biodiversity which is necessary for our survival. Okay, so these are the multi-functions that these two reservoirs are doing continuously, and by this 192 and 0111 after this prohibition came in the 84 villages, Surana Industries stood up and said that no, Bolke it started constructing its Surana Industries and derivatives in the catchment area. Pardon?
Usman Sagar, कहाँ पे?
No, in the catchment area.
In the catchment area where? In which zone?
Himayat Sagar. So in the prohibited area of GO 111, Surana Industries and derivatives actually started constructing. When he started constructing, and also what happened was the Pollution Control Board gave it the permission. Okay. So now when Professor Naidu went directly to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court took help of three expert committee reports over there. One was from Dr. Bhaumik from Mumbai's leading institute, and also from NGRI Hyderabad, and also from Delhi National Environmental Appellate Agency or Authority. Okay, so from all these three, they took expert reports, and these expert reports were used to give the conclusive judgment in December 2000, telling that two things, that the GO 111 cannot be removed and the GO 111 has to be implemented. And it used two important international environmental norms called the precautionary principle 1 and the burden of proof principle number 2. Now the precautionary principle is about this. It is about understanding this. They understood the reports and they highly appreciated the reports right in their order, that these are reports of high order, of high intellectual caliber. So what they told was that precautionary principle, why it is applied is that there are many things which are beyond human control. The Surana Industries can't be telling that I will sit here but I will never pollute. Because it is beyond your capacity that you are telling that you will not pollute. You can't even prove to me today, because that is something which will happen in the future. And after pollution, what do we do? Then other thing is burden of proof. The pollutant should show the burden of proof is on him, not upon the contesting person, but upon the industry that wants to do something there. So they could not withstand the burden of proof principle also. After all these, going through these three expert committee reports and a huge discussion and a huge arguments, then Supreme Court came to a conclusion that this should never go conclusive and no polluting industry should be there. Now I want to tell you all that the building and construction industry which is going to come in this 1,32,000 acres, you compare this with the proposal that we are making about floriculture in this 1,32,000 acres. I will tell you, the MOEF and notification under the Environment Act 1986, they have actually declared the building and construction industry as a red and hazardous industry. Now the government wants to fool us that they are going to construct software development buildings there, residential buildings there, malls there. What are all these? They are all constructions, they are buildings. And building and construction industry is identified as a red and hazardous industry, category red. Most polluted. Whom are they fooling? So buildings coming or whatever hotels and malls and other things, this is all for that. That is why now you compare this with the proposal, you imagine that entire terrain of 1,32,000 acres with farmers who want to farm, people who want to have only buildings in their areas, they should be given transfer development rights, which the government is very much using these days. If you people have heard of TDR chala use chestunnaaru. So you can use the TDR and you can tell those people, okay, you go out, you go, this is the land, you can go and construct there. This place is not for construction, this is for floriculture. So imagine the terrain when there are huge constructions which anyway are not tenable. They are telling that it can't, the constructions can't sustain there. Our scientists are telling they are going to shortly come up with a report where the construction industry is not sustainable, and we are now just opposing and giving a alternative of a floriculture over there. We have to understand that. Now 2000 that happened, that was a conclusive. Now what happened in 2020 and 2021, we all know it is still in our eyes. We have not forgotten. और मुख्यमंत्री may have forgotten, but we have not forgotten. हम लोग उसको अभी भूले नहीं कि 2020-2021 में हम लोगों पे क्या गुजरा. हम पे इंडिविजुअली शायद कुछ ना गुजरा हो, बट हमको देख के हमारे को मानसिक बहुत व्यथा हुई, हमको परेशानी हुई. हमको नहीं होती क्या हमारे सिटी के लोग चले जा रहे तो वो हुआ 2020-2021 में. तब भी वो वाटर बोर्ड वही निकाली कि हमको डैम सेफ्टी का बहुत परेशानी हो गई, इसलिए हम पानी पूरा छोड़ दे रहे. उसके बाद 2022 में this guy comes up in the assembly and he tells that assembly also he tells that yes, we are going to withdraw, committee is going to give some report, we are going to withdraw. And then 2022 he comes on 12th April and he tells it's a cabinet decision. Then suddenly this is not in public domain and it's coming like that. So what we are trying to understand over the timeline from 1908, 1912, 1921, this actually served the purpose what it has actually served the purpose. It actually served the purpose for which it was formed. That is the dams on the two tributaries and the height. We have, why I am trying to draw all this is that we have actually requested some students to do a model. They are coming up with a model from the Hyderabad university, and what we are trying to understand is that we are at a lower level, and the safety of these dams and the necessity of the dams both are necessary, because we cannot take in. Another one important thing is without the full concretization of this place, the seepage being around maybe 30% or 40% is seeping inside, and the runoff after filling the reservoirs, the runoff water had to be released. Okay, when you see this is concretized, what will we do with the rainwater that is falling here? It will be a total runoff. The seepage will be just 5% or 10%. It will be a total runoff. What will be the health of the dams? Because one scientist who came, one of the, not scientist but the other supporter of the scientist, he came, he told that according to the National Dam Safety Act 2021, this is actually, the health of the dam will be only 100 years. सिर्फ 100 साल रहता डैम का हेल्थ. मतलब क्या ये दोनों का खत्म हो चुका है, क्योंकि आप टाइम लाइन देख रहे हैं यहाँ पर. तो उसके लिए फर्स्ट अव्वल चीज ये करना पड़ता है कि उन लोगों की डैम की हेल्थ के लिए टेस्ट करके उनकी स्ट्रेंथन करना पड़ता है, क्योंकि यहाँ की रेन तो इन शिव मुख्यमंत्री के हाथ में नहीं है. ये वो कहने वाले हैं कि रेन भी मेरे हाथ में है, वो भी सुनना है. अभी फिल्टर बेड्स तक आ रही है. वो पूरी निजाम को जो पूरी इंडिया में अनोखी है, उसको आप बर्बाद करने के लिए क्यों तुले हैं? कारण तो बताइए, ये 1,30,000 एकड़ किसके हाथ में है? डरे हुए क्यों हैं आप? बताइए. Keep it in the open terrain. Let it be approved. Let somebody wants consequences, they must be able to construct. But why they should not construct here? They should not construct here because this is a topography of a city, and we must be able to cherish it and show it to the world that a metro city is still drinking water from the precipitation through the gravity captured in the historical 100-year-old dams and reservoirs and traveling through the 100-year-old water channels and giving us water, and still the city is drinking out of it. इसमें अपने को दम है या ये बोलना है कि सिर्फ 2% का पानी पूरे पीने के पानी में से 2% का चारा लिहाजा उसको उड़ा दो, ये तो उड़ा दो, ये बात हो गई वो. The world is shouting out, IPCC is screaming, don't lose a fraction of your blue aqua spaces, don't lose a fraction of your green spaces. IPCC shouting, existential threat है बोल रही, और ये हैदराबाद पे existential threat लेके आए. हमको जिंदा नहीं देखना चाहते, चंद लोगों की अय्याशियों के लिए हमको बहुत बोल रहे, हम नहीं बहना चाह रहे, हम हैदराबाद को जिंदा रखना चाह रहे, हम भी जिंदा रहना चाह रहे. So I have tried to tell you all the timeline, okay, tried my best and tried to explain the terrain also to you all, and how, once again, how this is another channel. Janwada, Usman Sagar is here, okay, just not you have Janwada village, that is one of the villages in the 84 villages. Janwada village se Konchu Mautal Minchi, there is one channel which travels up to Hussain Sagar. Water that has to be restored because we have seen the floods, but the government is not thinking of restoring it. That has to be restored. Why it has to be restored? Because the excess of water will be captured in the channels, and it will, when it's captured in the channel is communicating with all its sides and all its ground, communicating at the end, it is letting it water down and down. So this is the channel that has to be restored. All these water bodies that I showed you near the Balkapur channel, they are all to be formed here. And one very important thing, here there could be a catchment area, and here it could be falling, water could be falling in this inflow channel. But scientists are telling that underground, even if there is some here ridge, it is falling here. Suppose at this ridge, the rainwater is falling here into this inflow channel, and it is falling other side, means not in the catchment area of Usman Sagar, but sometimes inside the dikes will be so faulted and so structured that inside the water is actually going into the Usman Sagar. Even though it is outside of the catchment area, outside of the defined 84 villages of catchment area, still the water, even though it is out the watershed के उस पार होने के बावजूद जमीन के अंदर जाने के बाद उसकी ग्रेविटी इस तरह हो सकती है, इस तरफ हो सकती है. This is science, भाई. What is the IAS number 1, number 3, number 2, 3? What do they know about all this? I also don't know. I am gaining this from the scientists. Scientists के रिपोर्ट से हम पता कर रहे हैं पूरा. हम भी कहाँ knowledge का ठेका लेके नहीं. I am not a scientist. We have to humbly learn from them. So these three people, what did they learn? What did they study? 5 reports को लात मारे, और इंसानियत के जो पूरी निजाम चल रही है उसको लात मार दिए. सब बस, it's just about talking about your drinking water. Do we need water only for drinking? I'm asking you all. क्या पानी सिर्फ पीने के लिए होना भाई? कितनी जरूरियात है भाई पानी के? हम भी दे देंगे प्रगति भवन में, चंद लीटर देंगे, बोलेंगे पीने का पानी है, और साल पूरे पानी बंद कर देंगे प्रगति भवन में. चलेगा उनको? बताइए. इंसानियत की जरूरियत है. We need water for multi-purposes, for a basic hygiene, for our life to be normal. He's telling drinking water नहीं. We need water for so many things. We need water underground. We have to take water from there. We need it for our daily purposes, to live properly, for a standard life. The WHO and the MIF guidelines are telling that each person requires per day 140 liters of day. Tell me, is he going to give us 140 liters per day? You have only 2 days में आपको 2 hours पान, 1 hour. Is this how you live? And then you are telling people that you don't need these reservoirs.
Alternate day, not daily.
Alternate day.
बात ये है कुदरती निजाम में गुस्ताखी करना है.
गुस्ताखी कर रहे हैं क्या पंडित जी?
Why are we opposing GO 69? I want to understand what will happen if GO 69 comes.
GO 69 में he told that I am removing para 3 of GO 111.
Yes.
Yeah.
उससे what are the consequences of that?
GO 111 came to actually tell, just as I told in the timeline,
Right.
it came telling that identifying the 10 kilometers buffer zone in the upstream, which has 84 villages, and where they do not want, is clearly written. If you have read GO 111, I will send it to you also, and it is clearly written what are prohibited. All the industries are prohibited. Okay, all the hotels, malls, constructions are prohibited, and there is a stipulation of having the 60% open area, and there is a stipulation of floor space index, which is 1:0.5. Okay, and also it talks about that you should not have unnecessary, unauthorized check dams and constructions which will divert the water. All these are the prohibitions that are there in GO 111, which encompassed. It is written in GO 111, para number 3, in various all these points, that this will actually carry with it even GO 50. That is why he removed para number 3 of entirely of GO 111. So what happens is all these prohibitions are like, there are no prohibitions. He did that in a very baseless form. 5 रिपोर्ट लाके हम GO 111 रखे, आप निकाल के नहीं के लिए कम से कम 6 रिपोर्ट तो लाना. आप एक भी रिपोर्ट नहीं लाए. आप उसकी डबल लाना चाहिए, लेकिन आप डबल नहीं, 5 भी नहीं लाए और एक भी नहीं लाए. हाँ बोलिए.
Consequences क्या है? What are the consequences?
Consequences, I am repeating. Okay.
Yes.
See this catchment area of Usman Sagar is now all these because of the watershed area is flowing here. Now as it is, यहाँ पर permitted क्या है? Natural farming permitted है. Okay. And they are supposed in GO 111 is even mentioned. Every time they have to keep checking. You have to keep checking the flow of any fertilizers जा रहा क्या, वो जा रहा क्या, पूरा checking करो बोल के पूरी stipulations है उसमें. Okay. Monitoring is the stipulation. So all that has gone now. What happens now? When the water is flowing, now you are seeing on this road, just on this road or this area of this road, when rain falls, what is the amount of land that will permit the seepage of the water?
It's almost zero.
Almost zero. So when you remove the prohibitions, what were the prohibitions? Not to construct anything with all those that I told, right? When you construct all, then you removed it because you want those constructions, right? Otherwise, you would have written the GO 111. You would not even tamper with it. You would have strengthened its implementation. You would have removed the encroachments inside this. You would have removed the illegal constructions inside. You didn't do those two things, na? You removed the security ring, and now when you have this concretization here, and when you are telling that it is zero here now, right? When 0 or even 10% will be there, as it is now, the permeability of water when it falls is around 30 to 40%. समझ लो अभी, okay? Given that the unauthorized constructions are all there, the remaining is runoff, which is captured in the reservoirs and which are let out and which is all going into various channels also. Okay, when you have the concretized area concretized, what will happen? You are telling me, you yourself told me that seepage will not be there. So the entire thing is runoff now. Entire thing is runoff. Runoff means what will happen? Why I gave you this example? Why the water board tell that we are afraid of the dam hill, so we are letting out the water? Why? When the system is depending upon what, when the engineers form the dam, they form it depending upon the pressure that the amount of cubic feet water will fall on those dams, right? Okay. So what happens is when they ascertain the permeability and what amount of rain will come and will it withstand. Now what is happening in this place is that when you concretize all this, the concretization will not allow permeability. It will make the entire water come here. Okay, and when the entire water comes here, the dam's bearing capacity is something else, and you are giving it more. The dam will breach. Second thing, even if the dam doesn't breach, they have to open, keep open. Now, if they are waiting for some time after it fills in, after the channels go, this, that, then they are opening. At that time, what happens? Soon as it starts raining, because of the concretization and the runoff of the water, they will have to, soon as it rains, first thing the manager will do is he will open all the gates and keep. You understood? So, there is no question of storing the drinking. This is drinking water. Okay? Drinking water हो, इंसानियत की water जो basic जरूरत है, उस water को preserve करने की बात नहीं है. यहाँ की पानी हम यहाँ impound करके, यहाँ ये encroachments पूरे निकाल के, जिसमें फिनिक्स बैठी है, मैम बैठ के, सब बैठ के है, तो उन लोगों को निकालना चाहिए. ये फार्म हाउस जो भी घर बन के उनको जो है अनऑथराइज्ड पूरे निकालना चाहिए. इनको निकाल के यहाँ पर वाटर कैसा हम इम्पाउंड करें, यहाँ पर इस सिटी का ये कूलिंग इफेक्ट जो है, हीट आइलैंड हो जाएगा, ये पूरी सिटी कॉन्क्रीटाइज है सिवाय इतना। और यहाँ एक बर्बादी लाना चाह रहे हैं हम, जन्नत पसंद नहीं आ रहा, ये बात है। दैट इज व्हाई आई एम टेलिंग इट इज अबाउट जरूरियात वर्सेस अय्याशियां।
जो आलम हुसैन सागर का हुआ उससे भी बदतर हो जाएगा।
And they are talking about STPs and all that over there. You are talking about STPs. Which STP has purified a lake? By God, 360 acres spend करे, 400 crores spend करे हुसैन सागर के ऊपर, मालूम? Till 2016 for 6 years they spent JICA funds, JICA से लोन लेके. What happened? हुसैन सागर. The entire city is frothing भाई. नया किला में जाके देखो, ये ऊंचा फ्रॉथ है. नाचरम जाके देखो चलो ताकि ये ऊंचा फ्रॉथ है. The whole city is frothing. There is a pressing emergency need. Hyderabad की existence की खतरा है. Please understand that. When it is going to rain heavily, you are under खतरा. When it is not going to rain, you are again under खतरा. क्योंकि आज तुमको आपको 3-4 कितने महीनों से आपको बारिश नहीं है भाई, लेकिन पानी मुसलसल जा रहा है वहां से. मुसलसल हर दिन आपको 100 MGD जा रही सिटी को, और वो भी कैसा पानी? Don't tell me that this water is equal to the Krishna water or the Godavari water. कभी पी के देखिए आप गंडीपेट का और सागर का पानी. Understand it. It is not coming from 100 kilometers from the pipes. Energy वो सब है, बहुत reasons है, बहुत violations कर दिया I know. But this particular small things that we have to understand is that why first and foremost it was a dam. Why? यहाँ पर चले गए थे, washed out हो गए थे लोग. वो डैम को प्रिजर्व करना है. आपको कुछ करना चाहिए, you want to undo something, you don't have the right. Government does not have the right. सुप्रीम कोर्ट इस नहीं करी भाई वैसा. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ही जितने होते रिपोर्ट ला के डिसाइड करी भाई वो. So that it is a lesson for all of us. Today 2000 का जज का, maybe the judge is not there also in the world. I don't know. I hope he is there. But today we are talking about is the thing with how democratically the Supreme Court took this science and technology and everything into its thing. It gave Surana Industries को पूरी chance दिया ना. ये मालूम? If you read the order, you will know. It gave Surana Industries full chance. Burden of proof. Okay, you prove yourselves बोले.
क्या burden of proof?
Once again, हाँ? हाँ.
burden of proof था और क्या proof करना था?
Burden of proof principle मतलब क्या मालूम? Suppose I am telling that मैं खतरे में, मेरे से खतरा है बोल रहे ना, तो मेरे को प्रूव करना पड़ता कि नहीं भाई मेरे से खतरा नहीं है. वो है बर्डन ऑफ प्रूफ, मेरे ऊपर आ जाता. तो उन्होंने क्या करा मालूम? उन्होंने IICT का टेक्नोलॉजी है, वो है IICT का कोई साइंटिस्ट ही जिसका सुराना का डायरेक्टर है, हाँ, इसीलिए आपको कोई खतरा नहीं है, वी आर ब्रिंगिंग दिस टेक्नोलॉजी, वो ये बोल के बोला. जज टोल्ड यू आर टॉकिंग टू मी अबाउट अ टेक्नोलॉजी दैट यू आर टेलिंग इट, but where is, how is that going to prove to me that this reservoirs will not have any pollution? And how can I allow only you? If I allow you, I would allow everybody. And tell me how many I have to allow? So you're getting into a very complex situation. So इसीलिए वो burden of proof और वो precautionary principle को लेके हुआ था. You're telling something.
1908.
Shall I give her the mic?
No, it's okay.
Others can hear the question now.
We just started
with 1908 as a timeline. So there it is mentioned clearly 15k people died in the floods, right? At the time the total population of Hyderabad was about roughly 5 lakh people. That means that amounts to translates to around 3% of the population washed away. Now the density compared to 1908, today the number of people living in a square kilometer must be something like 20 to 30 times. So the danger multiplies by that many times. So if that is the case, if any danger, any flooding, anything comes like that of that scale, probably around 15 to 20 lakh people will wash away. That is first thing. And second thing, we've been talking about the climate change, and nobody they want development. Out of all software companies, most of the concentration happened in Bangalore, Hyderabad and Pune. Out of these three cities, Hyderabad is one of the best city, and now it is growing much better. One of the factors contributing to attracting all these IT companies is its climate.
Yes.
And if with all these violations and temperature going up by 4 degrees centigrade to 5 degrees centigrade. So all these, the destinations attractiveness will go away, and all these people who are doing almost like 1 million jobs in IT industry in Hyderabad is at danger. So that people have to understand what is the development, and the entire city is actually being led by the money which is coming from IT industry for the last 15-20 years. So we are going to clearly push it into some very dangerous situations. Thank you.
Two very important points that you have told, both about understanding the population ratio at that time, and also about the damage that it can be done to the what we are boasting about. Actually, we are boasting about the software revenue for Hyderabad, right? That itself is at stake now, because ultimately everybody wants a lake view house, that house, green house, that fancy things. So you are removing the fancy. The fancy is our nature, but we are attacking the very nature. The Chief Minister by this is attacking the very nature. Okay? So shall we end it up here? Bolo. Take it.
Hello. And let us not forget that water is not only the necessity of humans, many non-human animals are dependent on water.
There are somewhere around 280.
पॉइंट नोटेड. ये राम सर आणि कुड़ा राम सर के बारे में भी बताए थे, प्रणय आके राम सर के बारे में भी बताए थे. सो वी हैव टू नाउ सी विच आर्ग्यूमेंट एंड हाउ एंड वेयर, हाउ टू पुट इट, हाउ फर्स्ट टू गेट how to first check this out.
And Usman Sar is the second highest birding place in Telangana. Means we spotted more than 285 bird species in Usman Sar.
Which is the first?
First is Manjira. And Himayasar is somewhere around 256 and it is near to the 9th place. And many bird species, they are migrating from, I can say, even from Europe, Central Asia and Africa and many other countries. So there is huge biodiversity. Not only that, there is like a number of medicinal plants, flora. If we compare, if we convert it to the value of thing, it is much higher than any land rates.
Yes.
These days, medicine plants are very highly valuable, right? So even we need to think in that angles also.
Where are the medicinal plants located?
In the surrounding areas of these places, Anantagiri, from there too. Okay.
That mapping has not been done by the government. Okay. Bolo, fine.
Can I be a Kartik Reddy for some time?
Of course.
Fundamentally, like the argument that is coming up is earlier in GO 111, there were no precautions. At least in GO this 69, there are lot of precautions. How do you justify that? There are some sewage treatment plants, because an average person, when he sees the TV show, this is what he needs to understand. He is very much carried away by this argument that the lakes will not be polluted. There are some enough safeguards in the latest GO. How do you justify that? Not only this, there are many other things. The people over there, they are virtually waiting for this GO 111 to be removed so that they would become crorepati's overnight. And it's like saying that we are preventing one section of the people to remain poor, whereas his counterparts surrounding the city, they are rich. So it is like we are putting one section of the people into poverty. How do you justify this?
You can demolish this argument very easily. I will tell you how you have to demolish. Now you are telling me that one particular person who is a farmer, he wants development, so he wants to sell his land. He wants his land rate to go up like his counterparts. Who are those counterparts? I don't know, maybe city people. And he wants to sell his land so that he gets some value and go away. Is it that what they are wanting?
More or less.
Yes, I know that is the argument. So I want to understand from that particular person who wants to sell and go, when he wants to sell away and go somewhere, why is he bothered about development of this area anymore? He's going away from there, right? This is, yeah, rate is not his development. Na? When they're talking about development, they're talking about development of this place. Now once this person is selling away for a particular rate and going away, it is not about his development. They are talking about this waste development. They are not talking about the people selling development. Please read it well. They are telling that we want to develop this area.
Two groups of people. One is farmer who is not getting the rate. Another one are realtors who wants to develop and get the money back.
Yes. So what I'm telling is the people who want to sell and go. Okay? They want to sell and go. For them we can, because they are no longer interested in farming. Okay, maybe. So there is no harm. Today I'm a farmer. Today I don't want to do farming. I want to sell my land. Okay? So for these people, they may sell. The government has to take stock. When the government is coming up with such a lovely figure, so it has to have an idea of who is owning the land. It is not coming clear on that. You please ask your please those people about this. Okay? So who are the people who are earning and why the names are not very clear? Question number one. Second thing, if a farmer like a chota farmer, he wants to sell the land, because I'll get more rate, I will get more rate. If I lift up the area, lift up the Geo 111, you will get more rate. And ever cheppara asalu first kadha evaru allaru mukhyamantri. Okay. Now what I'm telling is that ये अगर उठा दिए, आप बोल रहे ज्यादा रेट आएगा, तो उठाने के बाद क्या होगा? This particular person is no longer here. This particular person is going away. So it is not about development of that person. It is about somebody who wants to take that land. Development is about वो लोग जो खरीदना चाह रहे वहां पर, उनकी डेवलपमेंट होना, और वहां आके खरीदना चाह रहे. वहां आके क्यों खरीदना चाह रहे? बेचने के लिए मजबूर करे. ठीक है, हमारे पास प्रूफ नहीं है, वो भी नहीं बोलेंगे. वहां आके क्यों खरीदना चाह रहे? Now you got it. The person who is selling has no development. He is selling and he is going away. What development he cares for that area? Now the person who is purchasing from that person, इन लोगों की डेवलपमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं आपकी मुख्यमंत्री. तो उनको क्या डेवलपमेंट चाहिए? They want a hotel, they want a mall, they want a 40 stores apartment. That is their definition of development. But development is primarily about having the things of the heat that the body can tolerate, the heat that the agriculture can tolerate, the pollution that the water should not go, the right to get the water from your vicinity. The whole city today does not have that naseeb. पूरी सिटी के पास, हर जगह के पास तालाब है, खदम पे तालाब है, लेकिन आपको ये नसीब नहीं कि आपके तालाब से आप पानी पिए. बदनसीब है हम. और ये नसीब है बचे हुए ये दो पीने के पानी के, ये नसीब है कि हमारे खरीद के हम तालाबों से, रिजर्वायर से हम पीने का पानी ले. वो नसीब आप हमसे छीनना चाह रहे हैं. दैट इज Geo 69. और अगर अगला पानी, ज्यादा पानी आ गया, उसको कौन करना? जाके पानी के सामने कौन खड़ेंगे? पूरी कैबिनेट खड़ेंगी. कौन खड़ के रोकेंगे पानी को? You got my point? So it is not about development. Now the people who want to do want to construct here. Now I'm coming to the other side. Suppose one person who is here, he does not want to sell, but he himself wants to construct, right? That is the other point. Now, if he wants to construct here, why the government is not having the guts to tell, this is foremost dam, Baba, पानी आएगा तो मैं क्या करेगा? तुमको यहीं कंस्ट्रक्ट करना चाहिए, तो मैं तुमको कंस्ट्रक्शन करना है ना, चलो मैं तुमको दूसरा जगह बता देता हूँ. TDR है. TDR का मतलब क्या है? मैं तुमको दूसरी जगह बता दूंगा, और यहाँ पर मैं आपको, यहाँ पर अब और स्ट्रिक्ट कर रहा हूँ मैं. कोई भी इलीगल कंस्ट्रक्शन अलाउ नहीं करता मैं कैचमेंट में. रिजर्वर के अंदर से पूरी एंक्रोचमेंट्स में निकाल दे रहा हूँ, और यहाँ पर पूरी मैं फ्लोरिकल्चर करता हूँ. और फ्लोरिकल्चर में क्या होता? hundreds of millions of dollars are being earned by all the African and other countries, and this will be converted into a paradise on the earth in these existential threat times of climate crisis. Imagine the reversal you're going to do, and imagine the foreign footfall that you will have in that place just to see that paradise. Convert it into a paradise. You want to control it with some zones kate, STPs kate. Which STP has controlled pollution? भाई बताओ, बोलो ना. सिटी में STPs डाले ना पिछले 20 साल से. पोल्यूशन ज्यादा हुआ तालाबों में या कम हुआ? पूछिए आप उनसे. Question them.
After 2014, all the land has been changing hands
Yes, we want
Now
to know.
only 1 or 2% of the small farmers are having the land in their hands. Rest of them is into the big.
Yes, so we have to have a list ना, it should be in the public domain. What is धरनी? धरनी कहीं बुलाए आप? So public domain में रहना बोल के लाए ना? कौन सा सर्वे नंबर, कितना लैंड, कितना, कौन मालिक है, कौन मालिकिन है, उसी के लिए धरनी है ना? तो धरनी में किस किस का नाम है पूरा, फिर ये 1,32,000 acres का धरनी में है क्या? बोलो बोलो, डिक्लेयर करो बोलो.
How are we going to stop this all नाटक?
नाटक क्या है? उसके ऊपर स्टे लाना, उसके बाद स्टे लाना, इंटरिम, उसके बाद सेट कराना.
That is what we are here for. We'll go for that. We'll go for the stay and
God willing, inshallah, we have to do that. Everybody should pray, everybody should contribute.
See, stay in these cases, I think it's quite difficult because especially when the public opinion is for the removal of GO 111, stay can be quite difficult. Even though I know that there are Supreme Court orders, clearly defend Supreme Court orders, but the public opinion is increasingly towards removal of GO 111.
What is
Thank
your
you.
plan of action?
Thank you for the encouragement.
Madam, what is your plan of action and how can we support you?
Yeah, we are trying. The one thing is that we need to. This has to now. One thing, two things. दो चीज है भाई. एक चीज है कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग को ये मालूम होना चाहिए कि हमसे धोखा हुआ है और हम डेंजर में है. एज नहीं मालूम लोगों को, इसीलिए कल वो छोटा छोटा पोस्टर शुरू करे. डाले ना, मालूम ना आपको, पोस्टर कल शुरू करे ना कि हमको धोखा हुआ है हैदराबादियों बोल के. तो ऐसे पोस्टर को हम क्या करना है, जब अंग्रेजी में बना है तो मैं काजल को बोली भाई ये अंग्रेजी में नहीं काबू है. हम रिक्वेस्ट भी करें कुछ लोगों को, भाई हमको तेलुगु में होना, हमको उर्दू में होना. We don't have people at hand who we give the information like this and within say 15 minutes or 20 minutes they will say this is a small poster. कितने sentences थे भाई कल के पोस्टर में? 4-5 sentences थे. तो उसको क्या हुआ है, हमको वो फौरन उर्दू में आ जाना और फौरन कम से कम वो ट्रांसलेशन तो दे सकना, ताकि वी कैन टेल द पोस्टर प्रिपेयरिंग वॉलंटियर कि भाई ये ऐसा फॉन्ट आ गया ना भाई, इसको तुम कर डाल, आपको तुमको सिर्फ पेस्ट करना है, वो भी बोल सकते. हम कोई पोस्टर बनाओ नहीं बोल रहे. पोस्टर अंग्रेजी में जो बना उसका हमको खाली फ्यू सेंटेंसेस रहता, उसका आप हमको जरा उर्दू में होना एक जने करने के लिए, तेलुगु में होना हमको और हिंदी में होना, हिंदी नहीं छोड़ते हम, ये 3 लैंग्वेजेस में हमको होना. तो क्या होता, यू इमेजिन द वाइड इंफॉर्मेशन डिसेमिनेशन दैट विल हैपन. इट इज वेरी नेसेसरी. आई एम ए टोटल वर्नाकुलर पर्सन भाई. आई नेवर बिलीव ओनली इन इंग्लिश. वी हैव टू हैव ऑल द 4. मैंने बहुत सारी चीजें मैं 4 लैंग्वेजेस में करती हूँ. तो वी नीड सम वॉलंटियर्स हु विल डू दैट. We thought that we can't do. You have to reach out to people and लोगों के अंदर आना, अंदर से वो आना, वो रिवोल्ट फीलिंग कि what is this भाई, we are in danger. अभी मैं आपको सबको यहाँ बिठा दे के मैं बोली अरे जरा रुको भाई, वो डेंजर में है, ऊपर एक टैंक है, वो फूटने वाला है, बोल तो what will you all tell me भाई? I am not at all telling you all. I didn't bother to check what all is the security here and suddenly that breaches and falls on you and हम सब चले गए यहाँ से. What will you all tell? What will your family do? Tell me. It is similar thing has happened here. He is not telling anybody about the dam, about the bridge, about the huge rain that will fall here. He is not telling about. He is not even telling about this, whether this particular, he told ना development malls वो सब बोल के बोलो ना बोलो, septic tanks लाता कहते हो ना. तो this terrain, is it suitable for even a 20-story building or a 10-story building? Did he find out? Is it there in some report? और 31 मार्च की रिपोर्ट बोल के बोल रहा ना 5 में, तो उसमें are these 3 IAS officers competent to judge whether this terrain is sufficient, whether this terrain is actually tenable for such construction? क्या इस terrain पे ऐसी टोपोग्राफी पे वो कंस्ट्रक्शन हो सकती है?
होने पर भी we are not going to allow it.
It is not going to happen. We will not allow it. This is the part. This is the point. We are not going to allow it because this entire natural system, ये आज की बात नहीं है भाई. आज चंद लोगों को यहाँ पर डेवलपमेंट करना है so called, उसकी नहीं है. This floriculture and earning millions of hundreds of dollars, not development. Who is going to defy and let somebody counter this point? That you think all these people who are coming here with the buildings and other things, they are going to give any revenue to the government? No. This floriculture will bring revenue to the whole city. ये पॉइंट है.
सिटी के अंदर का बिल्डिंग्स कोई ठिकाना नहीं है. पूरा more than the demand, they are all lying idle.
Yes.
Now they are going to develop in the lake.
इन द लेक आउटसाइड द अभी तो पूरा इन द लेक है, फिनिक्स तो पूरा इन द लेक बैठा हुआ है, फिनिक्स यहाँ इन द लेक नासिक की लेक में, नासिक की लेक के अंदर बैठा हुआ है.
When there is 3 other directions, why only in this direction where the precious water resources are there? There is पूरा 3 sides जो बाकी है उधर डेवलप करो, और दूसरा जगह
I don't know what is development.
दूसरा जगह
मैं उतना पढ़ी लिखी नहीं हूँ, मेरे को डेवलपमेंट बोलते क्या है मेरे को नहीं मालूम.
दूसरा जगह भी
बहुत डेवलपमेंट दिख रहा है.
वो गटकेसर साइड, तीसरा साइड, वो सब ऐसा ही है. क्यों इधर ही हमको इतना पैसा चाहिए?
वो पॉइंट वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू गो सो बट वी आर नॉट द गवर्नमेंट. कल आप मिनिस्टर बन जाएंगे, आप वो बात करो. अभी फिलहाल हम सिटीजन है तो हम बोल रहे हैं बस ये पूरा टेरेन है भाई, 100 सालों का है, इसको स्ट्रेंथन करो. बस क्यों बोलो, कल का कोई नहीं देखा, कल वो फ्लड का भी नहीं देखा, कल वो सूखा हो जाएगा, वो थोड़ा थोड़ा पानी इसमें कैप्चर हो जाएगा तो वो काम आएगा. कल वो वहां से जो यहाँ से जो 100 किलोमीटर से जो पाइप आ रहा मल्लना सागर, वो लाके इसमें भरता है तेवीरो. शौक देखो, शौक ने तो क्या है ये 100 किलोमीटर मल्लना सागर से इसमें लाके भर तुम बोला. यहाँ की बारिश के पानी को क्या करते कहते जेब में भरने का. व्हाट इज हैपनिंग यार?
The only
Flood will be excessive because we are getting water in the city, not from the skies of the city, but from outside the city. Imagine the catastrophe is creating in the city. We should not have. We should capture our rain waters.
Already there is water fully.
Development question.
खतरा तो समझ में आ गया मैडम. अब प्लान ऑफ एक्शन क्या है?
Boley now we will have to bring with he has quite very nicely encouraged all of us that you will never get a stay. That is a huge encouragement.
To be frank, it was my lawyer's suggestion.
So we get different types of lawyers, by we get lawyers who will tell this, we get lawyers who will tell that. So that's not a fault of you telling them.
the point
What
is,
happened to the People's Committee?
People's Committee is coming up with this report. ना उनकी first sitting हुई, I think second sitting again they are going to sit in the end of the April. They were formed and on 31st March the committee was formed. So it is just 1 month. So they have actually 1 or 2 more months time. And they are going to do the job within time. I am assuring you. They are not babus.
ఇప్పుడు సార్ మీరు చెప్పిన జియో 69 గురించి తెలిసింది. ఇప్పుడు కేసీఆర్ కూడా మనకు జియో 69 తీసి
దగ్గర పెట్టు.
ఓకే జియో 69 తీసి
ఇట్లా
లోన్ జియో తీసేస్తాం.
ఇంకా ఇట్లా పెట్టుకోవాలా.
111 జియో తీసేశారు కదా. ఇప్పుడు 111 జియో తీసేసి అక్కడ అపార్ట్మెంట్స్, బిల్డింగ్స్ ఏవైనా సంథింగ్ ఏదైనా రావచ్చు. విత్ ఇన్ ఒక ఆఫ్టర్ 10 years లోపల మొత్తం పొల్యూషన్ అవుతుంది. ప్లస్ డ్రింకింగ్ వాటర్ అనేది మనకు ఉండదు. ఇప్పుడు సేమ్ మనకు ట్యాంక్ బండ్ ఎలా ఉందో అలానే ఉంటుంది. కానీ దాని తర్వాత ఎందుకు కొంచెం వేరే దగ్గర నుంచి వాటర్ తీసుకుని వస్తామని చెప్తున్నారు. దానివల్ల మనకి ఇప్పుడు మనం వాటర్ క్యాన్ అనేది సిటీలో ప్రతి ఒక్కరు కూడా 20 నుంచి 25 రూపీస్ పెట్టి కొంటున్నారు. అప్పుడు వేరే దగ్గర నుంచి తీసుకుని వస్తున్నాం. ఆఫ్టర్ 10 years తర్వాత ఈచ్ వన్ వాటర్ క్యాన్ 50 to 100 రూపీస్ మనం పే చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఇప్పుడు డెవలప్మెంట్ ప్లస్ ఇప్పుడు డెవలప్మెంట్ మెట్రో సిటీ డెవలప్మెంట్ కావాలంటే కన్నా సమ్ ఇప్పుడు ఉప్పల్లో కూడా ఐటీ కంపెనీస్ ఉన్నాయి. అటు సైడ్ డెవలప్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, అటు సంగారెడ్డి సైడ్ డెవలప్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. సంథింగ్ ఇప్పుడు ఏంది వీళ్ళు యాక్చువల్ ఇంకొకటి కేసీఆర్ చెప్పారు, నేను రైతులకు ఎంకరేజ్ చేస్తాను. ఇప్పుడు 132 acres ఫార్మింగ్ ఎకర్స్, ఈ ఫార్మింగ్ చేయొద్దని మాకు బిజినెస్ చేసుకొనికే ఇవ్వండి అని చెప్పి తీసేసుకుంటారు. దీని ఏంది తర్వాత రైతుల దగ్గర నుంచి ఇప్పుడు మనం ఎట్లా మంచి నాణ్యత ఉన్న కూరగాయలు, రైస్ కొనుక్కుంటున్నామో తర్వాత కొన్ని రోజుల తర్వాత ఆఫ్టర్ 10 years వల్ల డ్రింకింగ్ వాటర్ కూడా విలేజ్ దగ్గర నుంచి మనం డబుల్ అమౌంట్ ఇచ్చేసి కొనుక్కోవాల్సి వస్తుంది. ఈ పీపుల్స్ ఇంకోటి ఇప్పుడు మీడియా పీపుల్స్ చాలా మంది పబ్లిక్ కూడా ఏం తెలుసు ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్. ఇప్పుడు ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ చేసినాక డబల్ అవుతుంది. ఒక ఆఫ్టర్ 10 years మనకు డెవలప్ అవుతుంది. దాని గురించి ఎవరు కూడా పెద్దగా మాట్లాడట్లేదు. ప్లస్ పర్ పర్సన్ ఎవరైనా మాట్లాడుతున్నారంటే మనీ ఇస్తే ఆటోమేటిక్ ఏంటంటే అతని సైడ్ వెళ్తారు. ఇదేంటంటే మనం ఫస్ట్ క్లియర్గా చెప్పాల్సింది అంటే పబ్లిక్ ఇప్పుడు ఆఫ్టర్ ఇప్పుడు ఇది 111 జియో కంప్లీట్గా వచ్చేసింది అనుకోండి, మనకు ఆఫ్టర్ 10 years అవుతా మన చిల్డ్రన్స్ కానీ మనకు కానీ ప్రాబ్లము ఎలా అవుతుంది అనేది క్లియర్గా పబ్లిక్ అర్థమైతే చెప్తే కానీ పబ్లిక్ ఆటోమేటిక్గా అందరూ మనకు సపోర్ట్ చేస్తారు. ఇప్పుడు తర్వాత ట్యాంక్ బండ్ ఉంది యాక్చువల్గా. ఇప్పుడు ఒక డాక్యుమెంటరీ టైప్లో విజువలైజేషన్లో అంటే ఆఫ్టర్ 10 years తర్వాత మనం వాటర్ కోసం ఎలా ఇబ్బంది పడతామో, తర్వాత మనకి ఇప్పుడు యాక్చువల్లీ టెంపరేచర్ హీట్ అనేది ఆఫ్టర్ 10 years తర్వాత మనకు ఆ చుట్టుపక్కల మొత్తం డెవలప్ అయింది అనుకోండి, హీట్ అనేది పెరిగిపోతుంది. దాన్ని ఎందుకు ఒక విజువలైజేషన్ రూపంలో చూపించామనుకోండి పబ్లిక్ కూడా అర్థమవుతుంది. ఇప్పుడు యాక్చువల్లీ కేసీఆర్ ప్రభుత్వం వచ్చేసి 10 years అవుతుంది. 10 years నుంచి ఇప్పుడు ట్యాంక్ బండ్ చాలా చెరువులు ఉన్నాయి. నేను తర్వాత క్లీనింగ్ చేస్తా, పోలీస్ స్టేషన్ కాకుండా చూస్తా అంటున్నారు. ఎన్నో ఇయర్స్ నుంచి ఉంది ట్యాంక్ బండ్. అది ఒకప్పుడు డ్రింకింగ్ వాటర్ అని తెలుసు నాకు యాక్చువల్ అయితే. ఇప్పుడు కూడా అది కనీసం డ్రింకింగ్ వాటర్ పక్కన అక్కడ స్మెల్ రాకుండా చేయలేకపోతున్నాం. అంటే ఇప్పుడు మనం ఇన్వెస్ట్మెంట్ కోసం మన అవసరం కోసం చెప్పుకుంటాం. తర్వాత పబ్లిక్ వెళ్ళి ఎంత గోల చేసినా సరే పట్టించుకునే నాదడు ఉండడు. ఇప్పుడు ట్యాంక్ బండ్ గురించి అప్పుడు కూడా సేమ్ ఇదే సిచ్యువేషన్ చెప్పారు. డెవలప్ అవుతుంది సిటీ డెవలప్ అయినాక వాటర్ మేము డ్రైనేజ్ లా కాకుండా చూసుకుంటాం అన్నారు. ఇప్పుడు అది చెప్తున్నాను సార్. మెయిన్ ఏంటంటే విజువలైజేషన్ లో చూపించేసి పబ్లిక్ నుంచి సపోర్ట్ చేస్తే పబ్లిక్ సపోర్ట్ చేశారన్న అందరు గెలుచుకుంటే అవుతుంది. నా ఒక్క ద్వారా కాదు సార్ అది.
Talking about the visualization, you want to do, you mean to say it should be in the form of a small video, 1 minute video atlaga
1 minute video, 2 minutes video automatically public spec.
So అందులో ఏం ఉండాలా, అందులో పాయింట్స్ ఏం ఉండాలా అవన్నీ మీరు ఒక స్క్రిప్ట్ మీరు విజువలైజేషన్స్ లాంటివి చేస్తారా?
చేస్తాం.
ఓకే, అయితే మీకు స్క్రిప్ట్ ఉంటుంది కదా, స్క్రిప్ట్ రాయండి మీరు. మేము ఇన్పుట్స్ ఇస్తాం అందులో.
అలా చేస్తే పబ్లిక్ ఎక్కువ రీచ్ అవుతుంది కదా.
యు ఆర్ రైట్. వి విల్ గివ్ యూ ద సైంటిఫిక్ ఇన్పుట్స్. ఏది డిగ్రీస్ ఎంత ఎక్కువ అవుతుంది, ఇవన్నీ కాంక్రిటైజ్ అయితే. ఇప్పుడు నేను పర్మియబిలిటీ గురించి చెప్పాను. ఇది పర్మియబిలిటీ లేకపోతే ఏమవుతుంది, పడిన వర్షం ఏమాత్రం భూమిలోకి పోకుండా ఇక్కడ కింద పోవడానికి స్థలం ఉండదు. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది, మొత్తం దీని మీదకి వచ్చేస్తుంది. అంటే మొత్తం సిటీ మీదకి వస్తుంది. ఆ పై నుంచి మన మీదకి పడుతుంది అనమాట. సో దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఈస్ ద విజువలైజేషన్స్ దట్ యూ కెన్ షో. అండ్ ఆల్సో యూ కెన్ షో అది ఎక్కువ వాన వచ్చినప్పుడు, వాన లేనప్పుడు మీరేం చూపించవచ్చు, ఇదైతే ఎట్లా అయితే భూగర్భ జలాల్లోకి నీళ్లు తక్కువ అయిపోతున్నట్టు మీరు చూపించవచ్చు. అప్పుడు ఇక్కడ డ్రిల్ పెట్టుకుని ఆయన బావి పెట్టుకుని ఆయనకి ఇప్పుడు ఉండదు అన్నమాట. మీరు అది తగ్గుతూ చూపిస్తారు. దాని తర్వాత అన్ని చోట్ల, దాని తర్వాత ఈ మృగవాణి పార్క్ మీద ఎఫెక్ట్ అవుతుంది. దాని తర్వాత ఏమవుతుంది, ఎప్పుడైతే భూమి కింద అక్విఫైర్స్ డక్ట్స్ తక్కువ అవుతాయి నీళ్లు, అప్పుడు భూమి పైన మన టెంపరేచర్ ఉష్ణోగ్రత ఇదే ఎక్కువ అవుతుంది అనమాట. సో మీరు అది కూడా చూపించవచ్చు. అండ్ ఆ హీట్ మూలాన ఏమవుతుందంటే ది సైంటిస్ట్ అటలీ హీట్ మూలాన వచ్చే రోగాలు నాన్ కమ్యూనికబుల్ డిజీజ్ అయితే ఉన్నాయో అవి చాలా ఎక్కువ అవుతున్నాయి.
మనం ఇవన్నీ ఆల్రెడీ మనకు గూగుల్ చేస్తే గూగుల్లో ఉన్నాయి. ఇప్పుడు మనం ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు జియో తీసుకుని వచ్చారు కదా, ఆ జియో వల్ల ఏం ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ వస్తాయని ఎవ్రీ పర్సన్ గూగుల్ నుంచి లెటర్ తీసుకొని దాని డీటెయిల్స్ అని రాసేసి టోటల్ అందరూ వాట్సాప్ లో కానీ టెలిగ్రామ్ లో కానీ సెండ్ చేస్తే ఏంటంటే ఓహో అంత చదివేది వేరు ఉంటుంది. విజువలైజేషన్ గా చూసి
you came up with a very important suggestion. ఆ విజువలైజేషన్ లో నేను స్క్రిప్ట్ అడిగింది. స్క్రిప్ట్ లో మేము ఇన్పుట్స్ ఎక్కడెక్కడ మేము ఇవ్వాలి మమ్మల్ని అడిగితే మేము ఇస్తాం. ఆ స్క్రిప్ట్ ఆ విజువలైజేషన్ మీరంతా మేము ఆర్టిస్ట్ కాదు, కానీ మేము నాకున్న మైండ్ తో నేను చెప్పాను ఇట్లా చూపించవచ్చు మనము. గ్రౌండ్ వాటర్ ఎక్కువ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఏమైతుంది చూపిస్తారు, తక్కువ అయితే ఏమొస్తుంది చూపిస్తారు, అన్ని చూపిస్తారు మీరు. So you please go ahead now. We will.
मैं उनका जबान बनता हूँ. आते में मुलाकात हुआ इनसे.
तो आप जरा टाइम काउंट कर लीजिए. మనం 1 week లో చేయొచ్చు అది.
1 week
ఫైన్. ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళు హెచ్సియు వాళ్ళు కూడా 1 week లో మొత్తం మోడల్ మొత్తం ఇస్తారు. ఓకే, ఆ మోడల్ ఇట్లా చూపిస్తున్నాం. ఇదంతా ఇలా ఎట్లయితే క్యాస్కేడ్ అయిపోతుందో మన ట్రాజెడీ మొత్తం. సో వీ కాంట్ టర్న్ ద హైదరాబాద్ ఇంటూ అ ట్రాజెడీ, రైట్?
मुलाकात हुआ तो ये वो क्या बोलते हैं प्रेस में इंटरेस्टेड है, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक प्रेस में. ये जनाब बोल रहे थे कि एक डॉक्यूमेंट्री बनाने के लिए तैयार है अगर हम डाटा उनको प्रोवाइड करेंगे और उनके पीछे ठहरेंगे तो कुछ लीगल कॉम्प्लिकेशंस बता रहे थे कि मैं फेस नहीं कर पाऊंगा अकेला. तो आप अगर ग्रुप बन के हम मुझे सपोर्ट करेंगे तो मैं डॉक्यूमेंट्री बना के दूंगा. ये बात था. ఏం సపోర్ట్ కావాలా, ఏం డాక్యుమెంటరీ చేస్తావు?
ఇప్పుడు హుస్సేన్ సాగర్ మీద నేను ఏమైనా చేశాను అనుకోండి, సమ్ నెక్స్ట్ జనరేషన్ కి ఎలా వస్తుంది అని చెప్పేసి నేను విత్ ఆపోజిట్ గవర్నమెంట్ మీద డాక్యుమెంటరీ తీస్తున్నాను విత్ లీగలీ. మనకు సమ్ ఇప్పుడు ఓన్లీ 1 పర్సన్ అనుకోండి, సమ్ పోలీస్ తరఫు నుంచి అయినా సరే టీఆర్ఎస్ తరఫు నుంచి అయినా సరే ప్రెజరింగ్ వస్తుంది. ఆ ప్రెజరింగ్ అనేది నాకు లేకుండా చూసుకుంటే కన్నా టోటల్ గా మీకు ఇస్తాను.
మేము ఇక్కడ 6th 7th మీటింగ్ అండి ఉన్నది ఉన్నట్టుగా ఇలా ప్రెస్ ప్రతి క్యారీ చేయని ప్రెస్ లేదు. ఓకే, అట్లా చేస్తున్నాం మేము.
ఇప్పుడు యాక్చువల్లీ మేడం ఇప్పుడు మీరు చెప్తున్నది కూడా ఏంటంటే ఇప్పటి వరకు చెప్పినారు నాకు తెలియదు. యాక్చువల్లీ నేను ఇప్పుడు వచ్చిన కాబట్టి మీరు చెప్పేది ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఉంది, నేను వింటున్నా, బాగుంది. యాక్చువల్లీ ఇప్పుడు మనం చేసేది ఏదైనా సరే చేస్తే రీచింగ్ అనేది ఎక్కువ ఉండాలి. ఎక్కువ ఉంటే మనకు రిజల్ట్స్ తొందరగా వస్తుంది.
అర్థమైంది ఆ పాయింట్. ఇప్పుడు ఇది ఇక్కడ ఇప్పటిదాకా నేషనల్ టీవీనే ఎక్కలేదు.
మనం తీసుకెళ్ళాలి మేడం. ఇప్పుడు యాక్చువల్లీ మనం ఇప్పుడు 1 hour 2 hours స్పెండ్ చేస్తున్నామంటే
What you can do is script. Don't bother about any security. You come up with your script. Fill in the script.
yeah.
Okay.
I just want to add లాభము నష్టము అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఈ రైతులందరూ ఉన్నారు కదా, సో ఈ రైతులందరూ నష్టపోతున్నారు అని చెప్పేసి అంటున్నారు కదా. అయితే దాన్ని వాళ్ళు చేసేటువంటి మేలు ఏంటి అంటే లైక్ దే ఆర్ సేఫ్ గార్డింగ్ హైదరాబాద్, దే ఆర్ గివింగ్ గుడ్ క్లైమేట్, దే ఆర్ గివింగ్ వాటర్, దే ఆర్ గివింగ్ coolness, everything they are giving. So why government can't go and compensate them on behalf of all people?
Incentivize.
Yeah, incentivize them or to give compensation for each acre. You find out how many farmers are there. You come up with alternative modes of development. So all these things. If you can't do anything directly, you give money to farmers there. Simple. No, he's not giving. He's not giving. So they have been actually losing. If at all they are losing, the government can do that. And second, other thing is real estate and selling at higher prices is the only profit that they are going to make.
Yes, only profit.
If that is the only thing that they're going to make or they're going to think, I have an alternative thing. That is like the places which are cool in nature, the places which are having good weather, good climate, are going to be most costly than the real estate projects in near future. I know a billionaire.
Government can increase the market price. Government price
Yeah,
of the
the
land.
same green zone conserved area may be higher price compared to other concrete jungles.
Yes.
I know for sure there is one billionaire who has been living there in that particular Geo 111 conservation zone by paying huge amount of money. He has purchased. He has built a house with no violation. He has built a house with pure wood. So such kind of development will be there. There will be huge demand for those kind of lands. Not this concrete jungles or not this only real estate prices selling and already almost like 80% of the land is out of hands of the farmers. Now if somebody goes and find out like in each village who are the owners, these new owners. So it is a clear case of like it's a plot. They said they're going to repeal this. And then they started, acquiring lands and lands and lands. After 7 or 8 years, it's only in the hands of, about, half a dozen people. Almost 50% of the land, remaining 50% of the land is in the hands of about, 500 or so people. And these, 2 lakh people who are living there, they have already lost their lands. If at all, the gentleman said like, majority of the people they want to live, 111 in that area. But actually, it is not pertain to only those areas, those 83 villages. 83 villages, all population put together maybe around less than 2 lakh. But we, as Hyderabadis or Telangana state, we are almost like 1.5 crore people who are being affected. So if that figure has to be taken down, it is about these 1 crore 50 lakh people whose lives are at stake. The economy of the state is at stake. These 1 million IT jobs are at stake. So people have to think about all these things, not just about only the immediate profit they are going to make out of all these transactions. Thank you.
Okay. Shall we wrap it up? Adigaru, you have any more question? No? You have some question? NGT is National Green Tribunal.
No, but they are supposed to protect these things.
They are supposed to protect. High Court is not supposed to protect. Chief Minister is not supposed to protect.
No, but that's okay. But they are independent bodies, so are they taking any action against it? Can we approach them or have we approached?
Yeah, you are supposed to. Everybody, each and everybody, anybody can approach the NGT.
అమ్మాయినా అడిగితేనే కానీ అన్నం పెట్టదు కదా.
Shivamota Jayala, Shivamota Jayale. They have a provision in the Act that they can actually take up suo motu, but they have not done it till now. NGT can take it up suo motu. By Act, they are bounded to take it suo motu if someone citizen is not bringing to the notice, but they are not taking it up till now.
No, actually,
High Court can take it up suo motu.
on the second day